Mayor Pro Tem, congratulations. I
Yes,
tell you
sir.
what, it's our first opportunity to sit down and talk. And man, I'm glad you signed up, but I would need to know, are you glad you signed up? It's been a very, very, very choppy seas here.
Yes, sir. First one was very, very different. Learning
sure.
experience, but I'm honored.
Yeah. No.
I'm definitely honored for the role. So just try to do the best I can and work with you, work with the council, and try to move forward and do what we can do.
Well, I certainly think you have the leadership abilities and the mentality and the personality to try to work with folks and bring it together. We're really what the job needs. And
Yes, sir.
So I think I'm grateful and happy to be able to serve with you.
Yes,
really.
sir. Yes, sir.
So just kind of briefing on last night's council meeting, it was not a lot of material, but it was a good solid 2.5, 3 hour meeting.
Yes, sir.
And so anyway, as I recall, really, I think the theme of the show was utilities, the billing, and where are we and what's going on. It's just a lot of frustration in our special called meeting in the week before, which you had chaired that meeting.
Yes, sir.
And so, what's your take on that? I mean, it's just, there obviously is a lot of energy out there, a lot of energy, and I get it. I do get it, but. But it's hard to kind of move forward if we keep getting stuck back in that same little echo chamber.
Yeah, and I think we keep getting stuck. So I think just trying to just catch a break, I guess. And this utility piece is major because I think it's affecting most of the city.
Right.
And it's kind of like starting to see people come together, just ask those questions and try to get those answers. Like, just what happened? How did we get here? How can we get where we don't have this happen again? And I think I heard of people loudly and clear, and just trying to get it right and try to get a complete understanding myself too.
Sure.
Like, how do we get here?
Well, and you and I were talking about that a little bit, and I think you're absolutely right. I don't know that I fully understand, but here is what I think I heard on Wednesday is that we actually have 13 billing cycles of 28 days, which is a departure apparently from what we've done in the past. And I'm guessing that was because there was a disconnect between when we read the meters and when we produced the bills and got them out. And so in creating the 13 billing cycles, or 28 days, that created a month in December, as it turned out, right at Christmas time and right after a very cold period, by the way, that we doubled down on the bills, and it created a lot of angst amongst our population. And so what we've done, as I understand it, you tell me if I'm wrong, is that we've said, okay, look, we're not going to turn off anybody's utilities. We understand that this is different. It's a challenge. We're going to work out payment plans as needed. This impacts 26,000 accounts. And we only have 6 people to work through it. So clearly that's created a lot of angst for everybody. So here's the answer I haven't gotten. So that's what I understand to be the table as it's set today.
I'm following you.
So here's what I don't understand, and I think it's incumbent on us to try to figure it out and find out more information. I don't believe the city of Rocky Mount has many more than 26,000 accounts. So I think everybody's been impacted, and I was trying to drill down on that last night in our meeting, but never really got the answer, and it really wasn't the time to really start drilling down on that. But we only have 54,000 people. So 26,000 accounts. If 3 people live in each house, that's more than 54,000 folks. I don't know how many businesses and churches that we have, but I dare say everybody's been touched by this billing challenge. We'll call it that. And I do think it's important that we point out that while the city has been responsible for creating this challenge, not everybody in the city is responsible for it. And we only have 6 people that are trying to work through this, and we have to get to a place where we understand they're here to try to help. We're all in the same boat. We've got to get down that road. And look, I get it. And there are a lot of people on fixed incomes. They're worried. They worry their utilities are going to get cut off. We heard stories last night of several people who actually had their utilities cut off. And they're terrible stories. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. They're just terrible stories. But, business is business. We do have to collect for what we charge for, but at the same time, there needs to be some human piece to that. And I think that we're trying to find that balance. But that was my take home. Now we had 34 speakers last night, all about utilities, save about 6. So 3 were about gun violence. and two were related to a public hearing that didn't happen. But anyway, so what was your take on all that?
So you pretty much nailed it. But I think too, like I said, even when the calls that I do get is more like, we hear it got to be paid. What's the payment plan? How long the extension? People just are trying to just want to pay the bill, but you still got, like you said, all those 34 speakers. I think we had 27 that came and talked about utilities, and every situation was totally different. Every situation was different. And some people came with solutions.
That's a good point, because I think that's right. I mean, every single one of them was different in some way.
Different. Yeah. So, and I think as you analyze it, you sit back and you listen. It's like the lady who talked about a mom, you know, 80 years old. That was before December 15th, before this broke. And I think I did want to kind of hear the end of what happened with that. What was the end of that story? And it was a gentleman that came and gave solutions, I think. So that's always good. When you don't only just complain about it, but you come with a solution. And I think that's always.
And one guy even offered to help.
Yeah. Said anything I can do, let me know. So, and I think the same thing, I've been getting calls about one or two ladies in my area that's looking, if you need help, I can donate 3 or 4 hours a day, 2 times a week. So things like that. Those are always calls that you want to hear. Those are the complaints you want to hear, and kind of like. Just,
Right. Well, so I guess in terms of backing up to the start of the meeting, we opened up the meeting. I capitated the initial public component to 30 minutes, and I've done that in the past, and we'll continue to do it because it's a business meeting, and everybody needs to be heard. Absolutely. So I don't want to not, eliminate that, but let's do 30 minutes, and then let's get our business conducted, and then we'll come back and we'll listen to all the public stuff. And that's what we did. Of course, I usually yield a couple criticisms when I do that, but at the same time, I want council to be as fresh as they possibly can as we're making those decisions and those votes. Now, there wasn't a lot on our agenda last night. We had a consent agenda, which really looked like some tax refunds, looked like closing a street. It looked like, some routine types of stuff that the city would engage in. And then we had 2 public hearings. One matter was withdrawn. The other was a rezoning from A1 to an industrial. It's up around the intermodal. It's kind of that little seam across from North Carolina Wesleyan College, across the railroad tracks, which is actually Edgecombe County, not quite touching on Battleboro to the north. And so there was a little discussion about that. And I was surprised at that, to be honest with you. But anyway, we checked the box. The rezoning did occur. That is going to hopefully be something that's going to be impactful to us. And I believe that it will. And we're working with the Gateways Partnership on that. Bob Pike was there with the folks who are sponsoring that. So that's good. I mean, there is economic development that is occurring. The business of the city is still moving forward. We're still trying to do right things and create jobs and create economics for all of us. So
absolutely.
So anyway, that's kind of where we were, and then that was really kind of the end of the meeting, other than discussing this particular matter. Now we are anticipating the state auditor's report any day now.
Yes, sir.
So that'll be interesting. That'll be another, I'm sure, topic of conversation for us for a little while. But I'll say it this way. I believe, despite all the frustration and anger, the city council, every person sitting out there has been as open and as transparent as they have. Yes. I believe that we've all agreed on at least a fact pattern. Now, we may have a different opinion as to how we got there, why, who might be to blame, and that kind of stuff. But I think we all agree that the sequence of events looked like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I believe that we have communicated that very clearly. And so I'm confident that what we're going to find is what we've already disclosed, or what we believe that we know. But we'll see as time comes. But I want it all out there. It's kind of driving me crazy. This little drip at the time, right? One thing, and then kind of another, and then another. If we could just get it all together and just okay, this is it.
This is where we are.
Yeah, that's right. Then what do we got to do to fix it from here? Yeah.
And I think also you go back to the committee of the whole meeting. Chief gave some good stats. I mean,
he did.
And I think
let's talk about that, because there's some really good statistics.
Absolutely. And I think you look at the murder rate has went up in the year, but everything else has went down. And I think what was once high, the B&Es, breaking in of cars, commercial business hasn't been broken into. So it's like those were very good stats outside of the murder rate.
Well, violent crime was down 30% quarter over quarter.
Yeah.
Some of the high 20s, I believe, year over year.
Absolutely.
So, and on the murder rate, I mean, right. So, but but we had an exceptionally good year last year, 6.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, we've been running somewhere between 10 and 16.
Yeah. And I
Year
think
over year.
too, you go back and look at, I mean, I've been a family member of a few Rocky Mountain unsolved murders.
Sure.
To know that out of, I think the last 3 years, we only have 2 open cases in those last 2-3 years of murders that haven't been solved. That's pretty good.
Right.
And I think he said they may have some leads on the other 2 working extremely hard. So those were good to hear.
Yeah.
That, you know, the technology that we have invested is being used, the way it's been used, and I think we made some good decisions.
Yeah, well, look, Chief McCoy, you know, one of the things that was so impressive when he was giving the presentation is that, look, we're taking this data that we're getting from this technology and we're applying it to when does it make sense.
Absolutely.
So our traffic, you know, wrecks are down because we found that we have most accidents in the morning.
Yeah.
And so that's when we were on patrol in these particular intersections. And so we've noticed the number of accidents have gone down as a result, the number of tickets have gone down as a result, the number of, you know, property damages, you know, and you know, and that's exactly what technology is for. And to see somebody actually utilizing it the way that it's intended and being able to articulate it is a big deal to me.
Yes,
you know?
sir. And I think even the approach he said with the morale factor is trying to build morale up in the police department, which is major, and that's all through the city. Those are some of the things that we do push is morale, because you do care about how people feel when they come to work. You want to make them enjoy their job, even though, you know, they're there to get paid, but you want to make it a great experience. That's where you spend most of your time at.
Well, people get paid a lot of places.
Yeah.
And we need them in the city now more than ever.
Absolutely.
We really do. We need people engaged more than ever.
Absolutely.
And I'm just going to give a little shout out here to Elton. I mean, he's got a hard job. He's taken a hard job. He's hired some great people.
Absolutely.
We've got a great new HR director. We've got a great new finance director. We've got a great team. I think he's working hard to try to make that happen. And so, again, we have some challenges in front of us. Not going to say we don't.
Yeah.
But it takes people to make a difference.
Absolutely. And I think we'll get through them. I know we'll get through them.
Yeah.
It's a little rocky right now, but I think we're on the edge of the cliff, and I think we'll put the chair down and we'll survive and do good work. So
yeah. So what do you see going forward? I mean, it's I think that covers those 2 meetings, and then, you know, the committee of the whole, the special called meeting really was to try to understand what had happened or what is happening in our building. But you know, we've in about 15 minutes covered a lot of ground, but it took us about 8 hours to live it all. Oh, actually, probably like 80 hours to live it all.
So I think, like I said, going forward, I think council continue to work together, continue to make decisions that make sense for the city. And I think, like you said, any day now we're waiting on the audit to come. So we try to see what he finds and what comes out of that, which, like you said, I don't think it'll be nothing that we did not know.
Right.
And seeing just how can we pick up the pieces and move forward.
Right.
I think that's one of the main things.
So, and I think it's important to point out here too that we've really got 2 audits going, right?
Yeah.
So the first audit that comes out, I think, will be more of an explanation of how did the city of Rocky Mount go from a financial position of $120 million in reserve to, you know, call it $30 million now in the bank account. And I think that what you're going to see is that we didn't spend a lot of money during COVID because we didn't know if we're going to have the money to spend. You could buy a fire truck in those days and get delivery of it in 4 months for, you know, 30% less than you can now. After COVID, now it takes you 3 years to get it, and you got to pay cash up front to make it happen. Now, but so I think that those balances are a little inflated. I think you're going to see that we got behind on our CapEx and had to spend money on it. I think what else you're going to see is that, you know, there were some real challenges with the payroll stuff. But, you know, I don't think there's going to be anything extraordinary, but other than an accounting of, okay, this is where the money went.
Yeah.
But then we also have an investigative audit that's going on that the state auditor's doing. So I just try to prepare people as they hear us talk to know that there's still another audit out there. Is there anything that rises to the level of criminality? Are there any challenges out there that need to be addressed or not addressed? And I think they're 2 separate issues. They can be related, but they're 2 separate issues. And I'm excited about it. And I'm excited that we'll at least get it out on the table and be able to deal with whatever. You know, and if nothing else, just to be able to close the chapter on it.
Yeah. And
you know, I don't feel like the last audit we ever really closed the chapter on it. You know, I feel like we still talk about it, And so if we can get an audit done, a forensic audit, if you will, done by the state of North Carolina, if it closes the door, praise the Lord, hallelujah. And if it doesn't, then at least we'll have a direction to move forward on. So, and then I'm told that's going to happen by March, but I don't
That's
know.
the same thing. I heard March.
So
could possibly be April, but
well,
they're aiming for March.
and maybe February. Who knows?
Yeah.
But unlikely.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's good news. So we're doing everything that we said we were going to do when we found these things, right?
Yes,
we
sir.
said we were going to be open, transparent. We had agreed that we were going to hire a forensic accountant, but it doesn't like we're going to have to because the state's going to do it for us. We've notified the LGC. They're involved intimately with our case. We are being as open. We're trying to control the bleeding. We did control the bleeding. That has happened. And we'll have an interim budget here that we'll be looking at hopefully in the next couple of weeks. To be able to get us through to July, and then we'll go through the normal budgeting process. So we've done everything that we said we were going to do and are doing everything that we said we were going to do as a council and as a city. And I just think it's important to remind people of that it's a process, it's not an event.
Yeah. And I think just continue to trust the process, and I think it's going to happen.
That's right.
Happen. And we'll come out good on the other side of this.
Well, we'll come out stronger and better.
Yeah,
in fact, I
absolutely.
think I saw that last night in some of our closed sessions where people really were trying to work together to come up with solutions.
Absolutely.
Without agenda.
Yeah.
And I'll say that I think I saw that for everybody at the table, which was a really wonderful thing.
Yes, sir.
So let me get a little water.
Yeah.
But anyway, other than that, I think that kind of covers the ground unless you can think of something else.
I think that's it. I'm just looking forward to the year. So it'll be a great one.
It is going to be a great one. Look, I thank you for being here. I thank you for what you're doing for the city of Rocky Mount. And, we're just going to go upward and onward.
Yes, sir. I agree.